Hello, hello. We are live, and this is one of my favorite topics to talk about. We are going to be talking about how to meal prep like a queen today. So I hope you guys are having a fabulous day. Happy hump day. We're going to dive right into this. So I'm going to share my screen here with you. So what is meal prep, right? Let's dive in and talk all about what, where, when, why, how. This is so important to our goals. So what is meal prep? Very simply, meal prep is exactly what it sounds like. You are planning and preparing food for you to have during the week to keep yourself on track with your goals. And also it's going to save you a ton of time. It's going to save you a ton of money and a ton of calories versus going out to eat all of the time. Well, this is going to happen in your kitchen. I don't know anybody that does meal prep outside of the kitchen, but this is going to be, in your kitchen. You're going to, set up your kitchen and your environment for the easiest and the most simple meal prep, which we're going to talk through a little bit today as well. This is really person independent. For me personally, I like to do 1 to 2 batch cooks per week. Typically one happens on Saturday and Sunday, and then maybe, Tuesday or Wednesday, sometimes Thursday, just kind of depends upon what we have going on throughout the week. And the reason I say maybe 2 times that you're going to do a little batch cooking is because I don't spend 8 hours in the kitchen making this Pinterest-like perfectly weighed out photo of all of my meals for the week. That's just not the way that I function. I am very busy. I have a toddler. We like to have a variety in our food, so I do it usually twice a week in some form of batch cooking, okay? Why is this important? Well, very simply, if we fail to plan, right, we are planning to fail. That is really what it boils down to. If we are flying by the seat of our pants and just winging it, we're not going to be as successful as we could be. I don't know anyone who does not set up their environment with the right foods, meaning getting them into the house, whether it is ordering groceries or going to the grocery store at least once a week. I know for me, I'm at the grocery store sometimes twice a week, depending upon if it's Costco or other places. But if we're not setting ourselves up for success, it's going to be really hard to see progress and optimize health. And we are about optimizing health even more so than weight loss. So it's really important because it also makes your life easier. If you are new to the FitMom community, I have talked about the decision fatigue that we all face every day because we make over 35,000 decisions every single day. Research shows us. Ask the Google machine, 35,000 plus decisions are made a day. I personally, with all of the moving parts of my life, I like to keep things simple. I like to plan my food ahead of time. I know what I'm eating. The decisions have been made. I know that I've planned in good snacks that I enjoy. And so it makes it much easier on you mentally, emotionally, but also to adhere. And if you're adhering to something for a specific goal, that is really important. Let's simplify things, okay? How? How is very simply, you are going to set aside 1 to 2 times per week. Block it off in your calendar. That's my best advice for you. Know when it's going to happen. If we just think it might happen, time gets away from us. We start running errands, somebody calls, we go do other things, and we never make it happen. You need to be specific. We have our win the day journal. We have our clients, map out what do they want to make? A couple of meals, 3, 4 meal ideas, depending upon, where you like to find those. It's up to you. We have our meal prep masterclass. We have Pinterest. There's all types of, recipes that we love and that we use. Pick 3 to 4 things, get to the grocery store, and then set aside some time to create these amazing meals that are so delicious to nourish your body. All right. So let's talk about how to make it simple. So there's a spectrum here of meal prep. I'm going to be honest, I kind of fall in the middle. Some people think that I am a maximum meal prepper. But I am not. Let me share my screen so you guys can see this. I am not. I like to keep things simple, silly. This is my method, right? So if you are a minimum meal prepper here, this is basically your prepping the basics, right? The essentials. This could be that you chopped some vegetables for the week, or you could just buy them pre-chopped. You cooked a little bit of protein. My rule is always have 1 form of protein on hand, okay? Rule protein ready on hand. Okay. You might also have snacks, right? I have a variety of snacks in my cupboard. Those are easy. I don't have to do anything. I just have to get them in the house. Protein bars, rice cakes, oatmeal, things like that. But with a minimum type of meal prep, you are going to have some more basic things here. To make it a little bit more fun with diversity, what you can do is you can season things differently. A great example is my chicken breast that I do in the Instant Pot. I will do that with a little chicken broth, and then I take it out. I divide it up into 2 to 3 different bowls, and I'll season it different ways. One might be a taco seasoning, one might be a Greek style seasoning, and one may be a barbecue chicken, right? I'm eating chicken, but I'm not doing it, one way only. I'm giving myself some variety here. You can buy bag salad kits. You can buy frozen vegetables. There's a lot of ways that you can shop that will make meal prep very, very easy and require minimum effort. I do from Costco or Trader Joe's. They have a lot of pre-cooked meats as well, and that can definitely help save some time in the kitchen. But the rule here is that we've got our essentials, we've got the basics, fruits, vegetables, starches, and protein on hand. Intermediate, okay, so this is where you may find a balance of prepping some of the essential items that work for you, but maybe you have a specific taste. For my husband and I, we love ribeyes. And so we know that one night a week, we're gonna do ribeye and some baked potato and some sort of vegetable. That is our lifestyle, that's our personal preferences. Okay, so this is finding that balance with essential items and your lifestyle. We'll talk more about that here in a minute as well. Maybe you like to go out on date night. That's a non-negotiable for us. We always go out as a family or the two of us once a week. And so I take that into consideration too, because that's one last meal I need to plan for, right? And then the maximum type of meal prepper is somebody who does it all. You are prepared. You have every meal, every snack made. You might even put it on the calendar when you're going to eat those things. I don't like to be dictated what I'm going to eat and when. So I like to just have my meals and then decide, when do I want to have it. So for example, this week, great example, I made 2 different types of meals. I did a Philly cheesesteak sloppy joe, and I did a buffalo chicken veggie casserole. It's really, really good. And so I knew, okay, in the first part of the week, I'm going to be eating one, if not both of those each day. So I might plug that in if I'm tracking, but I'm not assigning it to lunch is this, right? Or dinner is this, because I may not feel like having the Philly sloppy joes for lunch. I might want to have that other thing that I had on hand. And so I don't personally do that, but some people can. But you are a rock star here if you're doing maximum. You are portioning. Whoops. And packaging everything beautifully. Props to you if you have time to do this. I personally like, again, to keep it simple, silly. So as we're going through this, if you guys have questions, please let me know, and I'm happy to answer them. So now let's talk about the time that it takes. Anybody here get really overwhelmed feeling like you have to spend 8 hours in the kitchen on Sunday to meal prep? You don't need to do that. There's a couple of options here. So when we look at time, we are going to spend time making food, shopping it, for it. We are going to spend time deciding what we're going to eat. Maybe that is going through, Pinterest websites and finding recipes that you want, or it's 20 minutes that you're talking with your coworker at work. What do you want to eat for lunch? Do you want Chipotle? No, I want Chick-fil-A. Do you want Panera? You spend time thinking about these things, so why not use your time effectively to help you reach your goals, okay? Time in the kitchen, you have 2 options here, right? If you are going the minimum route, you are going to spend less time up front, right? So just a little bit of time on Sunday, but then throughout the week, you've got a lot of time here that you're thinking through things because you haven't made decisions around these things, right? You have some things that are prepped on hand, but then you come to the refrigerator and you're like, well, what should I pair that with? Do I really want this, right? And so there's some pros and there's some cons to both, okay? So the pros are less time initially. Could be busy weekends, you don't have time. I get that. Okay. Then you have less pre-prep planning, right? Because you aren't maybe looking through all of the recipes and coming up with ideas, and it's not necessary to do that. You're just getting the staples on hand. You have more flexibility, right? And can be more versatile because, again, you haven't made the perfect plan for the week to know these are the 4 or 5 things. You might just have a variety of proteins, a variety of starches, and a variety of like vegetables and fats that you will pair together, so you could come up with some meals. I do this a lot. If I look in my cupboard or my fridge and I see, well, I have this, this, and this, how could I get creative with it? So you do have some flexibility, right? But the cons are decisions every day, that decision fatigue, okay? And you're spending more time throughout the week. For some people, this works. For me, it doesn't. And I'll tell you why. It doesn't work for me to spend a lot of time during the week because I'm busy. I have a lot of Zoom calls. I'm back to back with things. I want to maximize my time that I see my son after school and my husband at nighttime instead of always, in the kitchen cooking. We do cook a couple of nights a week and we'll carry that over to lunches, but it's just not something that I enjoy doing every single night. I think we can all, as women, agree, especially if you're wearing multiple hats, you don't want to cook every night during the week. And so for me, I find my middle ground here. You might be really good at managing your time, and so this isn't bothersome. You'd rather have fresh meals throughout the week, make a meal, every single night and carry that over to lunches. That's totally fine. There's no right or wrong here. This is going to be, just up to you. But then let's look at the time that we spent initially. So let's say we spent a larger amount of time on the weekend, maximum of 2 hours is kind of where I go with this. There's very little time here during the week. And so the pros of this is that there are less time spent throughout the week. The decisions are made. Oh, and you guys can see this. Right? The cons would be that you did have to spend that time initially. And the con, I guess, would be too that you had to spend some time pre-planning and you made the decision around 4 or 5 meals instead of maybe more variety. So that could be a con. But what I would say, most importantly is thinking about what's important to you. If it's a priority to you to have nourishing food on hand, to enjoy your meals and to hit your goals, I would recommend going more towards the spectrum of making the decisions ahead of time. We'll talk about that and why here in just a minute. Okay, so more time on the weekend initially. Apologize for my handwriting here. Still getting used to writing on the iPad, so it kind of probably just looks like chicken scratch. But let's go to the next topic. And I'm going to give you 5 things that you can start to think about and to do in terms of successfully setting yourself up for the week and planning your week. Okay. So number 1, like I said, calendar, time block this. Choose 1 to 2 times a week that can be your meal prep day or batch cooking. All right. Set aside the time. Second here, schedule it in your calendar. For me, I live and die by my calendar because it's so important when you are managing a lot or you're just juggling a lot of different priorities in your life to remember that this is the time, this is the appointment that I set for myself. The same way that I do this for my workouts, the same way that I block off in the evening time with Marcus. I do that because that's where my focus and my attention should be at that time. So I would personally schedule it into your calendar. Number 3, evaluate what do we have on hand. Check your fridge, check your pantry. Look and see what all you have, maybe in the freezer, or if you have a backup freezer as well. What are some items that I could use this week so I don't need to buy so much? Or, oh, I forgot I have these, steamed stir-fry vegetables. awesome. I've got some frozen chicken in the freezer too. Let's let that thaw, and tomorrow we'll have a stir fry for dinner. We already have those ingredients on hand. You just need a little rice or maybe cauliflower rice, and some teriyaki sauce or some sort of like coconut aminos or something. Boom, there's one meal, and that'll make maybe multiple servings. So take inventory, right? That's number 3. Okay, then search and decide on your meals. Browse, that's what I do. I browse Pinterest and decide on your meals. What am I making? What do I need at the store? Shop and get it. Oops. In the house. Okay, those sound pretty simple, right? Well, let's take the calendar view here and kind of weigh the pros and cons, because initially this seems really overwhelming. If you're new to meal prep, start with 1 or 2 things, 1 or 2 meals that you want to make for the week. Don't let it become overwhelming, because I am a self-taught cook. If you guys saw my post, I have written the Fit Cookery Cookbook. That is a cookbook that I spent 4 years writing after my own journey, losing over 50 pounds. And I taught myself how to make healthy food delicious, fun, and enjoyable, and also keep me on track, towards my goals of losing and sustaining. My mom taught me the basics when I was young, but I didn't go to culinary school, right? I didn't take any special classes. So if you feel overwhelmed by this, just know that if I can do it, you can do it. And we're just gonna start small, okay? So let's take a look into your week and how this might look, okay? So if we have this calendar here, here's my meals, like my snacks, my breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all days throughout the week. What I'm going to do is I'm going to identify maybe where my events are or my non-negotiables, right? So date night for us is usually Saturday. Oops, I'm going to color this in red so you guys can see this. Date night is usually Saturday night. Friday night, we are very routine in our house. We like to do our ribeyes. So I already know, typically ribeye nights, one less meal I have to prep. And then I look at what should I kind of cook. Again, you guys could adjust this for yourself. Maybe you have lunch with a friend or, at work. We'll say lunch at work on Tuesday, right? And so you don't need to plan that. So basically I have these kind of 3 meals here, everything else that I need to kind of have a plan for. And if I don't have a plan, this is a lot of space where I could potentially make poor decisions. I could go through the drive-through, right, and get a Whopper and fries. Very calorie dense, a lot of inflammatory ingredients, inflammatory oils there. Those things don't serve my goals. If it's after work and I'm starving and I haven't eaten all day and I'm craving something, maybe I hit Culver's and I get the cheese curds and ice cream and, cheeseburger. Like, there's a lot of room here. If you can see this particular view, there's a lot of room here where I can make poor decisions. So to reduce the decision fatigue, I'm going to make those decisions up front, right? So I'll pick 2 to 3 things and I will carry them over throughout the week. So I'm just going to give you the example of what I did this week. I made a tater tot breakfast bake. So I'm just going to put, I'll put egg bake here. Okay, I'm going to eat that every morning of the week. I like it. It's enjoyable. What I do is I rotate through my carb sources. On Sunday, I also made a buffalo chicken dish, and I knew I was going to make that on Tuesday night. So we had that as my buffalo, we'll say chicken casserole, right? Okay, that chicken casserole took me over to lunch on Wednesday. I'll put CC here. Let's see, I also am probably going to have the leftovers of it tomorrow because there's one other serving after today. So I'll put that here. Who knows, I might have it for lunch. And then, again, on Sunday, we had our Sloppy Joes. I'm going to just put SJ. We had steak this night. That was left over here. I had Sloppy Joes again here. right? And these are main protein sources. I mixed my sloppy joe. It was a Philly cheesesteak sloppy joe. I mixed it one day with a ciabatta bun. The other day I did a vegetable, right? So I'm not always pairing it with the same carb. That keeps things a little bit more fun and versatile, right? So then now all I need to do Wednesday evening, tonight when I make dinner, it's probably going to be the stir fry, because I got this awesome boom boom shrimp, not boom boom shrimp. There's a name for it, but it's this awesome shrimp that I found this weekend. And I'm going to make a stir fry with it. That'll carry me over here. And then likely for lunch, I have a salad with air fryer burger. Okay, I always keep those things on hand as a backup, because now towards the end of the week, I'm running out. I don't want to spend too much time here. My snacks are usually the same, right? I rotate through my staple snacks: protein bars, overnight oats, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt. I do a lot of those things. So I just want you to take away from this slide, if you were not planned and prepared, look at all that black. What if all of that was red? You had an event, you had nothing prepared. That's a lot of options for you to make poor decisions, right? And our goal is to help you maximize your health and get ahead. So we want to make sure that we have a plan. So let's talk through grocery pantry essentials. This I'm going to run through really quick. This is a list. You can kind of go through this. These are things that I keep in my house. This is my personal list of, suggestion items to keep on hand. You can download the guide after this. And then I'm going to talk very quickly through the meal prep planner. So here I have 4 boxes. I have my protein, my snacks, my produce, my greens, and my starch. I'm a big fan of the rule of 2s or the rule of 3s. What does that mean? Well, I buy a double thing of ground turkey, like not just 1 pound, but the double pound of it. And I will do that in the skillet. Okay, so ground turkey. This I will split off. I'll do Greek bowls. And then we did turkey burgers as well this week. Okay, so it's one protein. It's going 2 different directions, being seasoned differently and cooked differently. In the skillet, formed as burgers thrown into the air fryer, right? You could also do chicken, oven, or Instant Pot. Very easy, no prep here. If you guys don't have an Instant Pot or air fryer, you need one. Snacks, these are going to be my protein bars. You could do overnight oats, right? Rice cakes. Easy stuff that you would keep on hand. Produce, I could chop my vegetables, or just buy bag salad kits, pre-chopped vegetables, bell peppers. I slice those up very quick. You can keep berries and fruit, right, on hand. I do a lot of frozen fruits and vegetables, to be honest. And then, that helps save time, because I just microwave it, or I just throw it into the skillet and cook it there. And then from a grains or, carb perspective, here I have microwavable rice. And I have my baked potatoes. I will have my husband post his baked potato recipe because it is the best. They are the best baked potatoes, his little trick. But yes, I bake my baked potatoes. And then at the same time, I could also, throw in some other veggies like on the skillet. And so how does this look? How does this transfer over to you from the time perspective? Very simply, I'm going to take you kind of through the cycle here. I spend no more than about 2 hours. So 10 minutes, I'm going to wash and I'm going to set up. I'm going to prep, right? My space. Okay. 10 minutes, I'm going to, season my potatoes, get those in the oven. Potato in oven. Maybe you're wrapping them in foil, kind of just depends upon how you like to cook those things. You could start boiling water, give yourself some time for water to boil for pasta, things like that. Here I would get my chicken out, dump in the Instant Pot, right? That takes me 5 minutes. Then I might spend 10 minutes doing cut vegetables for the week, 10 minutes to portion any snacks that I have. Okay. And then while all of that is happening, right, I have some time here where things are in the oven, things are in the Instant Pot. I'm portioning my snacks out. That's good. What else, can I get done while these things are cooking and baking in the oven? So this is where I might start to make, other fancy things. Like maybe I'm making homemade hummus, or I'm going to do the overnight oats, right? So that might take me like 20 minutes for a new recipe. Like this week, when I did the shredded buffalo chicken, that took a little bit longer because I had to cook the chicken and then I had to mix it together with the sauce and the veggies. And so that was maybe like 15 minutes of prep, and then I put it, in the oven on Tuesday night. So here you can see like I'm spending a little bit of time, but I'm also maximizing my time while things are getting done in the kitchen. Okay, so once I get to this point where I've got new recipe prepped, or I'm making a sauce of some sort. Sauce will say dip, right? My chicken's getting cooked. My potatoes are in the oven. My veggies are already done, and I've already kind of portioned out my snacks. So now all I need to do is remove things from the oven and start to portion it out. I'm going to give you a chunk of about 20 minutes for this, because really it's not going to take you more than that, but just let's kind of overestimate time, right? You might have a toddler hanging at your hip, so it does take you a little bit longer. So 20 minutes, portion out. If you want to weigh your food, if you were doing this. Okay. 10 minutes. Clean up, put in dishwasher. You're like, Liz, that sounds too simple. How the heck do you do your meal prep in 2 hours or less? I'm very organized. That first 10 minutes of washing things and prepping things, setting up your environment is helpful. I use my Instant Pot, I use my oven, sometimes I will use my skillet, and I do use my air fryer. And I am not the person, I'm going to be fully transparent here, that portions out and weighs out my food. When I did that bake for this week, that stays in that dish all week until it's gone. I'm not gonna, weigh it out and make 6 different containers for it. It stays in that dish. The sloppy joe stays in that dish. I know that there's, 4 servings in it, so I just cut it in there. It's not perfect, but it's nearly spot on, and I'm not dirtying multiple dishes. Again, I do work from home. This is gonna be different for those of you who are in office, but that saves time too. Same thing with your potatoes or your rice or any other thing that you are cooking, especially if you're doing like a big batch of shredded chicken. Just keep that in storage. I do keep my chicken broth in it if I'm going to reheat it so that it doesn't lose the moisture and juiciness. And then I'll season it different ways when I'm ready for different meals. So that's kind of how I think about things, instead of weighing and measuring everything out perfectly into different containers. That can be helpful for people who are, of course, going into the office. So very quickly, I want to chat through portion sizing and serving sizing if you are not weighing your food, just to give you the education to be able to eyeball things. So the palm of your hand, this is going to be your protein. It's about 4 to 6 ounces. Your fist, so this is your fist. This is cupped hand, thumb, palm. So palm is for protein, right? PP, protein. Fist is going to be your veggies. Thumb is going to be your fats. It's about, let's say, like a tablespoon of nut butter or a quarter, depending upon the size of the avocado, quarter of an avocado. And then your cupped hands is going to be your starches, okay? So this is going to be about half a cup. Whoops. Starches here. This is going to be about a half a cup if you are doing a cupped handful. So let's bring this back to me. So this is my cupped handful. It could be pasta, it could be rice, things like that. And so if you're not weighing and measuring your food, that is no problem. Not everybody needs to be doing this. Just use your hand as your guide and try to eyeball things and be realistic with yourself. And then try to build your meals protein first, veggies, fats, and then your added starches, the way that I just walked you through that. So last thing that I want to go over, and then everything else is going to be in the guide. So if you want a copy of this guide with all the goodies, please comment prep, and we will send you this guide all filled in for you. Not my chicken scratch, but the good notes. So eating healthy on a budget. Holy moly, are groceries very expensive right now? Are they not? My grocery store, it's wild. So I've been using Thrive Market. I've been using ButcherBox. I'm buying from companies that are giving different discounts and are more cost effective. So those would be two things that you could do. If you guys are here with me, please chat in the comments and let me know. Is this helpful? Do you have any questions? I can't see who all is here, so I'd love to know if you're here. First and foremost, what is the old wise tale that your mom taught you? My mom taught me, don't go to the store hungry. I know that I buy way more if I go in and I'm hungry because my stomach is talking and my eyes are like, yes, that sounds great. Okay, stick to your list. This is where lists are very helpful, especially if you know what you are going to cook for the week. Some grocery shopping trips, of course, might be a little more expensive because you're stocking up on condiments or sauces and things like that you need every once in a while. Go out to eat less. Eat at home more. Out less. The cost of going out to eat is pretty crazy. We have a family of 3. My son is going to be 3. Just to go out without any drinks, without any appetizers or dessert is on average anywhere between $60 and $80. And it's nothing fancy. Like we'll go to the pizza place across the street. I get a salad, my husband gets a pizza, and Marcus gets a burger. It's at least $60. Then you tack on tip. You can go to Aldi or Trader Joe's, someplace like that, and get a pretty good amount of food with multiple meals for the same price. Shop seasonally and shop sales. Especially in this time. What I've been finding in our local grocery store is a lot of meat that's on sale. Sometimes it might be going out of date in the next 48 hours, and so then it's further discounted. I buy that, put it in the freezer, keep that on hand. It's not bad. It just needs to be sold before it hits that expiration. I will also change up my food for the week. If I see, for example, bell peppers are on sale, awesome. I can easily do stuffed bell peppers this week instead of doing turkey, with marinara sauce and pasta. So shop the sales, shop in season, shop the perimeter of the store. Okay, so this is also where you're going to find your most nutrient-dense foods, but also not pay a lot for like the packaging of the processed foods. Eat leafy greens. These are very satiating and filling. Okay, they're going to give you more volume, less calories. They keep you full longer. I like to use my freezer, as I mentioned. So frozen items, 10 for 10. Fruits and vegetables, I'm here for it all the time. It also makes it very easy in terms of not wasting things. So anybody ever gone to the grocery store and then just wasted food because you forgot that you bought all those vegetables that are now in the drawer that you haven't seen all week and they've gone bad? Yes, I have been known to do this too many times, and so I do buy a lot of things frozen. Check your local farmer's market. I love farmer's markets. You can also join a co-op. You could go in with a friend and split something. They have different bundles there that you could buy and maybe serve 2 families with, and just, share that with somebody else. Purchase off-brand products, right? This is where I'm going to say, read your labels and compare. Okay, read labels and compare. And the last one is going to be buy in bulk. You guys all know, if you follow me on Instagram, I love shopping at Costco. I save so much money at Costco every week and can't say enough good things about Costco. I wish I could get sponsored by them, but they don't do that. So we are going to wrap this up. The rest of the tools here in the guide are too much for me to go through with you, but I will briefly show them to you. We have a recommendation for essential tools in your kitchen, your guide to what goes where, how long things last in terms of food storage times, conversion charts if you ever have a question around ounces to grams, temperature, things like that. And then you have this bonus weekly meal plan sheet. Transfer that over with your grocery shopping list. I like to be very specific. It keeps me on target. Or you can always use this and purchase your groceries online and have them delivered to your door if you don't have time to get to the store, or you have children, or just a crazy schedule. The biggest thing is making sure food gets in the house. And just remember, you won't be perfect. Make sure that you focus on keeping it simple. Start slow, build from there. But before you know it, you're going to be a chef. Just like me, writing a cookbook, hopefully. If you don't have a copy of the Fit Cookery, you can do that. You can grab a copy at fitcookery.com. But go ahead and write prep in the chat here, and we will be sure to send this guide over to you that is all filled out. And I hope that you all have a fabulous day. We'll be back with another training very soon.